I don't know. David Wallace wants to know, why do I have no volume? Hopefully everybody else does. Can you hear it? Alright, great. Welcome, Wally. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And I see Michael Sexton. And those are the only two people I can see, but we have over a dozen people, so speak up. Who's watching? Where are you at? How's your week? What's the weather like? I know the 757 is flooded out this week. We're not here. Let's see here, Mr. Bobby Heiss. I can hear you. Good, I'm glad you can hear me loud and clear. And my favorite sister, all the way up from Michigan, has just tuned in. Hello, favorite sister. For those of you who don't know, she's my only sister. I got some pictures of me as a kid I was just looking at this week. Of me in little doll dresses. So my first time in drag was because of my sister. Just saying that. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Oh, my Aunt Sandra from St. Louis area is tuning in now. And Miss, let's see. I'm sorry, my eyesight's going bad. Ah, Tracy Skipper from right here in Charlottesville. She plays a big old part in the live arts community here. That's some local theater that does amazing work. So if you're ever in Charlottesville, make sure you go check out a show at Live Arts. And I think that's that. Let's see here. Miss Christina Mataliano is tuning in from right here in Charlottesville. And Bobby says, is the beach area flooded? The beach area is absolutely flooded, unfortunately. But I do believe everybody's doing good. And that was a perfect question for a perfect time, because the end of the song means the beginning of the show. Alright, let's see here. So, my phone has been acting really, really stupid. So all of my notes that I had ready for the show disappeared off my phone. So I didn't have any notes, so I had to very quickly write them on my iPad. Which I love this daggone iPad. But anyway, tonight, what are we talking about? We're talking about problems. Let me scoot a little closer. I'm moving this whole couch a little closer because we're going to try to read comments as we go. I can't read. But a few more people have come in, which is great. Yeah, so let's see, getting started tonight. We're talking about problems, and I know somebody's going to ask. I'm just drinking mango juice tonight. So we're keeping it simple, but really cold because it is daggone hot. So tonight we're talking about problems. What are problems? Why do they exist? Why do we always have to put up with that? Problems. You know, we hear it all the time. I got a problem. Or you got a problem. Or there's a problem with that. Well, I'm here to tell you that I got 99 problems, and that's okay. And if you have 99 problems, that's okay too. If you have 9 problems, that's okay too. And we're going to talk about problems tonight. So basically, I just have kind of 4 points that I want to talk about tonight concerning problems, because this is something I think we can all relate to, and we all at one point or another we think, why do these things exist? Why can't life just be smooth? And why can't things just happen the way that we want them to happen? And that's what we're talking about, problems. So we're going to cover 4 main points of problems tonight. We're basically going to talk about who has problems. We're going to talk about what are the worst problems to deal with, why we have problems, and why those problems even exist. So those are the 4 areas that we're going to cover tonight. And we're going to jump right in because I know you're super excited about it. And answer that first question, who has problems? I've had a problem. If you've had a problem, like hit like on the video or hit a heart or hit a face or something so I can see the faces going across, because I know that I've had a problem. I don't know if you all have had problems, but I'm assuming that maybe 1 or 2 of you have had a problem once or twice in your life. So I'm saying, who has problems? I have problems. And if somebody will fess up to having a problem, then I can prove my point. Ah, there. All right, so you're starting to hit like. Great. That proves my point, that I have problems, you have problems. Look at all those likes coming across there. A lot of people have problems. Why? Because we all have problems. Who has problems? All of us. All of us got problems. You know, a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, no, I don't have any problems. Life is great. Or, no, I used to have problems, and then I got over them, and I fixed them, or I left them back there. You know, I don't have any problems. Well, if somebody tells you that they don't have any problems, or that they've never had problems, or they don't deal with problems, I'm going to tell you right now, their problem is that they're a liar. Because if anybody ever tells you they don't have problems, or they've never dealt with problems before, they're lying. There are certain times when we might have certain problems, and certain times when we won't. But that doesn't negate the fact that we've had that problem. You know, there are certain times that we might have more problems today than we did yesterday, or we might have more problems today than we will tomorrow, but it doesn't negate the fact that we are dealing with a problem, or we've dealt with a problem. So I think it's really important, at least for me, to remember that I'm not the only one that deals with problems. I might be the only person who's dealing with a specific problem at a specific time in a specific way for a specific reason, but I'm not the only one that deals with problems. Everybody deals with problems. And for me, that really helps me a lot, because then I think I'm not alone. This isn't something that only impacts me. This is something that everybody's going through. And that helps me so much to deal with my problems, to know that, point number 1, everybody deals with problems. Now, this leads to point number 2 about problems, is that if everybody's dealing with problems, why then are we going to say, my problems are worse than your problems? Or, that's your problem? That's nothing. Why do we do that? That's point number 2, is that your problems are not worse than my problems. Your problems are not easier than my problems. My problems aren't better or worse than yours. My problems are problems, and your problems are problems. And this came up out of a conversation that I had with somebody a while back. But this person said, you know, what's going on? How are you? Let me hear you about your life. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm kind of dealing with this problem right now. And saying, instead of saying, you know, oh, well, what can I do to help you? Or, oh, wow, well, what are you doing to fix it? Or, oh, I hope it gets better for you. This person said, oh, I've got that problem too, and I've got this problem on top of it, so you're okay. All right. So I said, all right, I'm gonna let that go. And then another conversation happened, and I said, oh my gosh, this thing happened to me this week, and I'm kind of having a hard time dealing with it. And that person said, oh my gosh, a while back I dealt with something like that too, but at least you have both of your legs working, because I had a broken leg at the same time. I said, okay, well, I'm glad your leg's healed. I'm glad you got through that problem. That doesn't help me in this problem now. And so one of the things about problems that we have to remember is that your problems aren't worse than mine and mine aren't yours, because problems are relative. They're relative to who's dealing with them. They're relative to the environment, to the timing. Problems are relative. So I might say the biggest problem that I have right now is, I don't know, my phone. My phone won't stay on unless it's on a charger, and I keep losing data out of it. I keep losing information and photos. I can't communicate with people. It's my phone being jacked up to me is a big problem right now, because it's stopping me from communicating, stopping me from doing my job, from all of these things. So to me, that's a big problem. Well, somebody else might come along and say, why is that a big problem? All you have to do is go to the store and buy a new one. My big problem right now is that my dog just got run over, and I now have to pay this big vet bill because my dog got run over. Well, those things are kind of different. They're both costing money, yeah. They may cost the same, they may not, but they each have a relative impact on that person. And then you get a third person to come in and say, your biggest problem is that your phone doesn't work, and your biggest problem is that your dog has a broken leg. My biggest problem is that I have nothing to feed my family with tonight. We would all agree that's a pretty big problem. But then somebody maybe will come along and say, my biggest problem is my hair is so frizzy because of this humidity. And we have a tendency to say, well, the people without food, they have the worst problem of all. The people with the frizzy hair, they need to get over it. Well, so I might actually agree with you on that. But the point is, these problems are relative as to what's going on in somebody's life. If somebody's walking in to be a hair model, maybe frizzy hair is a big problem for them. Even if for the rest of us, frizzy hair is just everyday hair. And so it's really important to remember is that, my problems aren't worse than your problems, and your problems certainly aren't worse than my problems, because problems are relative. They're relative to life, to a situation, to a person, and we should never, ever, ever feel like we can't ask for help about a problem because our problems are less significant than somebody else's. I've done that before, where I'm like, you know what? Maybe the fact that, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, and I can't. Maybe the fact that I don't have any gas in my truck seems like a big problem to me, but it's less of a problem for somebody else. So I'm not going to ask them if they'll give me a ride, to work. I'll take a taxi, or I'll walk, or something like that, because we're embarrassed that we have problems, because we feel like our problems are less significant than other people's problems. We feel like it's got to be some catastrophic event for it to matter, when in reality, a problem is a problem. Whether it's this huge off-the-charts catastrophe or something that we feel is small, a problem's a problem, and we should never be embarrassed about that. So we said, first, we all have problems. We said, second, those problems aren't worse or better than others, because a problem is a problem. So if everybody has them, and if problems are just problems, then the third point, which is really important to remember, is that we didn't necessarily have to do anything wrong, or we're not bad people if we have problems. So I think a lot of times when we're facing these problems, we want to think about, what did I do to deserve this? Or if we're going through a problem, all of a sudden we want to say, what did I do wrong? Like, where did I screw up that this is happening? Well, there's definitely a cause and effect in life, but you're not a bad person if you have problems. I try to be a really good person, and I still have problems. Some of the worst people in the world have problems, and some of the best people in the world have problems, because you don't have to do something bad. You don't have to be a bad person. Problems aren't punishments. Problems are simply problems. So it's really important to think about that, is that, or one way that I think about it really, is that it's like if you're driving down the road, potholes are problems. We don't like to run into potholes because they make things bumpy. They make the ride not fun. They can mess up our car, so we might have damage because of them. Potholes are like problems. They're not fun when we get to them, but it's really important to remember you will never come across a pothole unless you're driving your car down the road. So if you're not driving your car down the road, you're never going to hit a pothole, but that also means you're just sitting in a freaking parking lot in your car like an idiot. So get in your car, drive, and hit a pothole every once in a while. And in life, it's the same thing. You're going to hit these problems if you're moving forward down the path of life. If you're moving down your journey, if you've gotten in, you've decided to go, you're going to eventually hit a problem. And that's okay, because what is that problem? That problem is proof that we're moving on a journey, that we have some sort of forward momentum, that there's something changing that we've decided to change before we hit that problem. So it's really important to remember that third point. You don't have to be a bad person to hit problems. In fact, some of the best people will hit some of the most problems because they're going to keep moving forward with that forward momentum. So the first point is we all have problems. Everybody's got problems. Second point, your problems aren't worse than mine, and my problems aren't worse than yours. Problems are problems. And it's not just the bad people that get problems. Point number 3, problems aren't punishment, it's potential. Which leads into point number 4, which is exactly that. Problems are chances to grow and to learn and to push through, to persevere. Problems aren't really problems per se. I know that's a stupid comment now that I say it out loud. But problems aren't really problems. They're instances and chances and opportunities to exhibit our strength, our critical thinking, our creativity, our perseverance, our support network. That's what a problem is. A problem is the opportunity to exhibit some of our best traits. Problems, they're not a bad thing, because problems allow us to step outside of that comfort zone and into our growth zone. We're taking it back to that previous episode of the Jason Elliott Show when we talked about comfort zone, growing zone, danger zone. Problems are what allow us to expand into our growth zone and therefore grow our comfort zone. So problems, they're a good thing. Problems are opportunities for exhibiting our strengths and some of our best points. So I think it's really important to remember these 4 points about problems. Is that, what are they? What's the 4 points? Somebody better be like typing or something, because y'all are really quiet tonight. But I'm getting ready to go look at comments so I can actually read you and respond. So our 4 points that we're taking home tonight about problems. 1, what is it? We all have problems. All of us have problems. If somebody says to you that they don't have problems, their problem is that they're a liar. Call them out on it. 2, my problems aren't worse than your problems, and your problems aren't worse than my problems, because problems are relative. Problems are relative as to who is dealing with them, where you are when you're dealing with them, why you have to deal with them. Problems are relative. Problems are for everybody. Problems are relative. Problems don't mean you did something wrong, and they don't mean that you're a bad person deserving of some punishment. Problems are not punishment. Problems are for everybody. Problems are relative. Problems are not punishment, but problems are opportunities to exhibit our potential. Problems are potential. These problems allow us to grow, to exhibit our strengths, and to learn. So problems are for everybody. Problems are relative. Problems are not punishment, but problems are potential. There's our 4 points for problems tonight. And while we're thinking about that, and while you're typing up your responses, I'm going to pop over here, and I'm going to read some of the comments that y'all been leaving throughout the night. And we're going to see what y'all got to say about this. Because problems, I got 99 of them. Give me another one. Let's do it, and I'll keep on growing. I'll do it just to piss somebody off. I'll say, you know what? You gave me a problem. You think I'm going to cave? Nope, because problems are potential. Hashtag problems are potential. That's it. All right, so let's see here. At the beginning of the show, Casey says, they're lying. That's life. Or they're mooching. Yeah, that's right. When we're talking about problems are for everybody. If somebody says they're not having problems, they're lying. Vicky says, I'm a problem solver on a daily basis. And you know what? That's another thing. Problems are also very persistent. So sometimes problems are going to take a long time to fix. Problems are going to take a long time to solve. Problems are going to take a long time to put behind us. So problems can be persistent, but I want you to be more persistent and persevere more than the problems, because problems might be potential, but you got more potential. Yeah, Christine Chase said earlier, problems are challenges. Exactly. Casey says, and with someone going through similar problems, you can help you solve them in an easier way. Absolutely. And that goes back to what we had talked about before about having that support network. When you have people around you, when you have people close by, those people may have experienced similar problems, and they can help you solve those problems as well. So that's a really good point, Casey. Thanks for bringing that. Chanel, just so you know, Chanel says, oh my gosh, I'm sorry about your dog. That was just an example. I don't even have a dog. But thank you anyway. Let's see here. Miss Smith says, mine is my blood pressure is high. You know what? That is a very serious problem for a lot of people. And so blood pressure can be a real problem. And what can you do to combat that? One, we're going to walk through those 4 steps. Problems are for everybody. Not everybody's got high blood pressure, but a lot of people do. Problems are relative. So somebody's blood pressure might be higher or lower than yours, but the fact of the matter is that's a big problem for you. Relative to your life, high blood pressure is a problem. 3, maybe you did something to stress yourself out and it spiked it up. But 4, problems are potential. So you can take that problem of high blood pressure and you can exhibit your strength in changing your lifestyle. So maybe you can change your diet. You can exhibit your strength through maybe taking medicine every day if you need to. Through exercising a little bit, to making a conscious decision to lower the stress level. High blood pressure is a very serious thing that I want you to take seriously, that you absolutely can, because you're going to exhibit your own potential and you will overcome that. I know it. Wendy says, I think if I hear someone's problem that I had happen to me, I try to give them advice to help them out. And Casey agrees. She says, me too. I always try to solve it and try to look at it from an outsider's viewpoint to help the person see a different angle and try to help them. And Kim agrees, and she said, yep, we do. And she continues to say, we need to be empathetic and try to put ourselves in other people's shoes and stop feeling sorry for ourselves. That's right. You know, we can have a pity party every once in a while, and we can have little things that we need, to kind of give ourselves that pity party. But at the end of the day, problems are what? Problems are potential. So problems are the potential for us to exhibit our strength, to push forward, and to be strong individuals, showing people exactly how to overcome these problems, and then go back and help them with it. Let's see, along the way, Mr. Lukman has tuned in, as has Ingo May. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's see, and David says that carefully placed orange throw on the first day of fall. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this is here all the time, because orange is my favorite color. So I have an orange throw, an orange leather bucket chair, an orange ottoman. So I have orange all over the place, but it is fitting that it is the first day of fall, and we have a nice little orange throw back there. Speaking of problems, it is a problem that summer is over, But we're going to take that hashtag 51% and we are going to move forward and enjoy the beautiful colors that are coming. That's my 51%. I'm exchanging the beautiful yellow and orange sun for yellow and orange leaves. Trying to be 51% about it. Just as Chanel said, when a problem emerges, I do put on my 51% glasses and say, I got this. And that's what we can absolutely do with problems. Problems, they're not going anywhere. Problems are going to hang around. Problems are going to be a thing. But what can we do? We can take that 51% approach and we can overcome it. That's what I want you to do. Remember to take your 51% glasses and put them on. 51%. Make 51% of your actions good, happy, positive. And that little change to your life will create big changes for the rest of the world. Sorry, I was hoping that it would be a very seamless transition into the outro music, and my iPad froze. But, oh, it didn't freeze. I had it turned down. But that's as simple as it is with problems. I got 99 problems, and that's okay. If you got 99 problems, if you've got 9 problems, if you've got 999,000 problems, it's alright. Why? Because 1, problems are for everybody. Everybody's got problems. 2, problems are relative. So don't feel like your problems aren't as bad as my problems, or my problems aren't as bad as your problems, because they're relative, and problems are problems regardless of to what degree. 3rd, oh my gosh, stroke brain. 3rd, problems are not punishment. You don't necessarily have to do something bad or be an evil person to deal with problems, because 3, problems are not punishment. In fact, number 4, what are problems? Problems are potential. Problems allow us to exhibit our creativity, our critical thinking, our strengths, our perseverance, our support networks. That's what problems are. So when you come across the problem, think of it like a pothole. If you weren't driving down the road and you weren't moving forward, you'd never hit a pothole on the road. Same thing with a problem. If you hit a problem, that means you're moving forward in the right direction. So if you don't ever hit problems, you better put your pedal to the metal and you better get going down this journey of life. Because I believe that problems are proof that we're moving forward and we're doing things in life. And I know that you're doing things in life because I see it every day. And I appreciate you allowing me to do things every single day. And I love my potholes. I love my problems. And I love you for watching the Jason Elliott Show tonight and each and every Thursday. I do appreciate it. I'll be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about because I never really know. But if you ever have suggestions for the Jason Elliott Show, make sure that you send them to my inbox and we'll talk about it one day. So I appreciate you again. And just remember, from dreams to goals and goals to realities, because dreams are for those who are sleeping. If you are alive and watching the Jason Elliott Show, that means that you can get up and you can work towards making those dreams goals. Because goals are attainable, they are achievable, and you can then turn them into your reality. Your reality is yours and only yours. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't, that you won't, and that you shouldn't. Your reality is yours, so make it, bask in it, be proud of it, because it's something that you can make. Thank y'all again for watching tonight as we talked about problems, and I look forward to seeing you next week and each and every Thursday on the Jason Elliott Show, where what? You ask, I talk, we grow. Bye everybody, thanks so much, and have a wonderful night. Oh, that's a bright light. Oh, I thought I hit pause. I hate this phone.